I actually came back into comics at the end of 2017 into the beginning of 2018. And since I've been back, I've heard numerous rumors about the Submariner coming into the MCU. And I honestly cannot wait for it to happen. Stay tuned for the video. Reggie here, your friendly neighborhood bodybuilder and comic book collector, and I want to welcome you to another one of my videos. In this video, we are going to take a look at some awesome Submariner comics that I have in my collection. And as I mentioned to you, there have been rumors that the Submariner is going to be in the MCU for several years. And these rumors would circulate, they would die off, and they would come back. But now, potentially, it's actually going to happen. There are rumors out there right now that the star actor from Narcos has been hired to actually be the Submariner. There are additional rumors out there that 2 additional women are going to be hired to basically play some characters that are also associated with the Submariner. And maybe, just maybe, this is actually going to happen. Whether it happens now or in the future, I am ready. And I will show you some books here that I've actually picked up over the years related to the Submariner because, again, I like to be ahead of the curve. And so these are books that I've actually picked up, either before the rumor starts or I wait for the rumor to die down and then I pick up some of these books. But these books have all been in the collection, I want to say, for a nice amount of time. So the very first book that I'll show you guys is honestly a personal favorite of mine. And you've actually seen me talk about this team recently in another video. It is Invaders. The Invaders are awesome. And this is the original Human Torch and Toro, Captain America, Bucky, and of course the Submariner. This is Giant Size Invaders issue number 1. What makes this book really cool is that this is the Golden Age origin of the Submariner retold. Just a really cool square-bound book that, again, I have a couple of copies of, but it's just a really cool piece of history right there. I wish I could own the real origin, but the retold will have to do. This second book is also, I think, a really cool book. This is Invaders issue number 20. Now, what makes this book special is that it actually contains a backup story of the original Submariner origin story from Motion Picture Funnies Weekly from 1939. So again, just one of those books that I don't know that a lot of people know about, to be honest with you. So it's just one of those really cool books right there. It's Union Jack and a few others, just really cool books. So had to start this one off with talking about the Invaders because you don't often get to talk about the Invaders. So I want to try to weave them in, and I've done so now in 2 videos recently. So I'm definitely on a roll. Part of the reason why we think that the Submariner is going to be making his way into the MCU is to be part of the new Black Panther movie. With the passing of the actor that played the Black Panther, there's a lot of speculation as to what's actually going to happen. And people think, again, that Submariner is going to come in. Maybe Submariner is going to attack Wakanda, and there's going to be a war of some point. So that takes us to the rise of the Black Panther. I think this is issue number 2. This is actually the origin of the Atlantis Wakanda War. And I have a couple of copies of this book. I picked this one up actually from my comic shop. I love my comic shop, so I picked up a couple of copies of this, I guess a couple of years ago now. So cool book right there to actually have. Next up, we have kind of sort of continuation. This is a New Avengers issue number 7. This is a Jonathan Hickman story right here. And this book is actually where Wakanda declares war on Atlantis. And there is actually another book where I think Atlantis declares war on Wakanda. I think it's A versus X, and I could not find that book in the collection. I know for a fact that I have it. Was unable to find it, but I did find this one and definitely wanted to share that book. Next up, we have Ultimatum. Ultimatum, and I have 2 copies of that. One regular cover, and then one is the variant cover. This book is actually where there are some underwater volcanoes that I think are under Wakanda that erupt. And this is actually a tie to, I think it was Avengers Endgame, where there was the whole underwater volcanoes, eruptions occurring. I can tell you for a fact that this probably that fact is probably the only thing that makes this particular book special. I don't remember this being a very good read. Ultimatum issue number 1, and then here is the variant of that book. And who did this one? This is actually an Ed McGuinness book. I actually picked this book up, The House of Pop Culture, in it was in Maryland when I was living. Waldorf, Maryland is where I picked this up. Probably in 2005, 2006. I think that was the time frame. So again, just a book that I've had in the collection for quite some time. Next up is a book that I think everybody is going to recognize. If you know Namor, Submariner, you probably know this book right here. This is Submariner issue number 1, and this is the first, I believe, solo title for the Submariner in the Silver Age. I do believe that I just threaded that needle correctly, but definitely a really cool book. I actually have 2 copies of this one. My second copy has some blue ink where someone colored in some of these figures, but I have 2 copies of it. Probably should have picked up a third, but here we are. Next up, we have a cool book. This is Invaders, issue number 1. This is another favorite of mine. Again, trying to work in as many Invaders books as I possibly can. Again, this is issue number 1. This book is cool because this is actually the first appearance of the Invaders team. So just a cool book, again, because of that. All right. This next book, again, is one of those books that I think a lot of folks will recognize. This is X-Men issue number 6. Cool book right here. And it's cool for lots of reasons. One of the real reasons why I like the book is because in this book, we learned that Namor is actually a mutant. So that was something that was not known before. In this book, he is basically declared to be a mutant. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I think Toro is also a mutant as well. I don't think people really talk about Toro from the Invaders all that much, but he too, I do believe, is also a mutant, which is why he is able to, flame on, if you will. So yeah, just some tidbits that I've picked up along the way. Next up is a book that is special for absolutely no reason. It is absolutely no reason. This is Fantastic Four issue number 14 right here. And I just love it for what it is. I just love it for what it is. It is honestly nothing special other than a Submariner appearance. I bought this book, I don't know, 3 years ago or something like that. I just thought it was a cool book. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then the very last book is one that I probably should have shown you before. I think I've shown it in a video when I actually picked it up not that long ago. It is just another copy of Invaders issue number 1 right there. Again, just a favorite. One of my covers. This is a Roy Thomas story and a John Romita cover. Just a really cool book that I absolutely love. I would love to have it in a 9.8, but a 9.6 is certainly good enough. All right, so with that, I'm going to wrap this video up. And again, fingers crossed that we actually do get Submariner, Namor, the first mutant, or however you want to classify him. Hopefully we get him in the MCU finally after all of these years of rumors. Maybe it will actually happen. If you need to reach out to me, feel free to do so on Instagram at Regie Collects. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment behind, and let's mix it up in the comment section. Take care.